Hey there guys, I'm Nick here on Chave on 6 days till Nintendo Switch. So I'm sorry for the very delayed videos, I've had a problem editing, but currently at this time recording this is day 5 and I don't even have number 7 out right now. 7 is recorded, but I'm just way behind. I'm sorry about that, but all these videos will be out by the time the Switch launches. And then right after that, I'll be doing an unboxing. That's going to end this series, and I'll do some other stuff on this channel because I'm really trying to get the ball rolling with this channel now because I have more time on my hands. But anyways, so today's video is going to be on launch titles I recommend. So there have been a slew of launch titles announced. It's definitely not like the Wii U's or any other launch title. Any other like launch lineup for consoles. The Wii U's had a lot, but they're like 3/4 of them were just filler titles. but That's why the Wii U kind of flopped. But there's about 11, 12 games. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the number off of my head. Originally it was like 10, but then they add some and they lose some. So we're going to go off the launch titles I recommend. Binding of Isaac is not on this list because it was pushed to the 17th. And 2 titles are added. If you saw my launch lineup video, I did add some edits into the video and the description to add those 2 new titles. If you don't know, Shovel Knight and its DLC Spectre of Torment, where you play Spectre Knight, comes first on Switch before any other console. And then we got Fast RMX, which is kind of like a sequel to Fast Racing Neo, which the game itself is a lot like F-Zero. So it looks like a pretty fun game. I personally haven't played it yet, but it does look like a fun title. But the games I recommend for the Switch are, number 1, of course, everyone's expecting me to say this, Breath of the Wild. You may think to yourself, but I'm not a Zelda fan. Now I'm going to tell you a little something. I'm actually not a Zelda fan either. I love Nintendo. I respect Zelda. I love the franchise. I love the lore. And I love the character designs and everything. I don't really play Zelda, but I have this gigantic Link. I got him for 50% off, but it's pretty great. Like I said, I love all Nintendo franchises. That's why I have this gigantic Link. But I'm just personally, for the Zelda games, I haven't played them too much. I've owned them before, but I just never gotten too much into them. Ooh, just out of the way. But I still recommend this game because personally, like I said, I'm not a big Zelda fan. I'm interested in the franchise and I love the characters. Especially Link. He's the main character. That's pretty. Oh, congratulations, you like Link. The Zelda franchise just. I love the characters, man. But that's not the reason why you should just get the game. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of spitballing ideas right here because I'm kind of going crazy because the Switch comes out in 5 days. I'm sorry. But I still recommend this game because as a non-Zelda fan, I'm interested in the franchise, but I'm not a fan of it. The game still makes me want to buy it because games like Majora's Mask 3D, the remake of the game, I was looking at it going, even as a Majora's Mask point of view, it's just I'm okay. The game isn't bad. I don't hate Majora's Mask at all. I like it, but it's just. And I also owned Twilight Princess HD when it came out, and the game itself, hey, it's interesting, but I don't have too much time to get invested in this. But I look at Breath of the Wild and I'm going, as a non-big Zelda fan, I go, whoa, this game is different. I like the new systems they're doing with the crafting, and I like how you can basically interact with the whole environment. That is really interesting to me, and honestly, the game story looks really good, and I'm just like, hey, this makes me want to try out Zelda, even though I'm not too into Zelda, and that honestly makes me think that it's going to be a great game if I'm intrigued by it. And another game I also recommend is Super Bomberman R. This game is basically a good multiplayer experience. You can play it solo, you can do the story mode, or you can play with up to 8 people on one Switch, which is pretty great. That's why it's kind of like the basically flagship multiplayer launch title, because you can have 8 people on one Switch, and each person on the Switch has one half of the Joy-Cons. You know how you see them playing Mario Kart with the 2 Joy-Cons? Well, that's what you do with Bomberman, except you can have up to 8 single parts Joy-Con, or just 4 sets of Joy-Con. But you don't even need that because I'm not expecting people to play with 8 players on there. You can, it's a cool option, but I'd say 4 would be probably the max if you want a cheaper experience. But like I said, you still have the option for 8 people. I'm just saying the more general public is probably going to go for 4 because, first of all, you only need to buy 2 sets of Joy-Con. And also, I mean, usually you don't have more than 4 people if you're trying to like play the Switch around. I mean, you may have more for like a party, but still, like I said, if you really want, you can have up to 8 people. But Bomberman itself is just a fun game. It's a fun arcade game where you basically like blast. Well, you have a set level, and then you place bombs down certain angles and try to basically eliminate your friends. In the story mode, you have to eliminate other like CPU enemies. You can also play the story mode with other people, which is pretty cool. Um, so that's just basically my summary of Bomberman. It's not a good summary, but I mean, I love Bomberman. I'm excited it's come to the Switch. Like the game looks so good. Um, the next game I recommend is one two. I don't fully recommend 1-2 Switch. I recommend it in a sense, basically, because first of all, the game is $50. I mean, it should be like 20 or 30. I'm not too mad that's not a pack-in title, but 20 or 30 would have been good. But I'm still getting it personally just because it's a fun game. Like if you just want to mess around with your friends or make a good video out of it, or at least just like test the Switch out, people. I wouldn't say it's just a demo. I mean, it can be used as a demo because you got that like game that basically with the balls where you basically roll around the Joy-Con, try to feel the vibrations, kind of feel like balls are rolling around. So you gotta see how many are in this imaginary box. But that's kind of more of a demo. But some of the other games are just basically just like having fun. Just a quick way just to have fun with your friends or do like a scoring system. Basically just a party game. If you have more people around, that's basically what you do. If people want to take turns playing it, that's kind of the game you would go to. And then the next game I recommend is I love Shovel Knight so much, and no matter what system you get, I recommend getting Shovel Knight. And the fact that on the Switch you get the DLC early before any other console, it is free if you get the full Shovel Knight game. Whenever a new DLC comes out, it'll be free. Or they have a new option where if you don't want to buy the full game, you can just for $10 get the separate expansion. The normal game is $25, and that's how much it originally really cost. Well, it's like $20 originally just for the first game, and then that would just be it, and you'd have to wait for all the new expansions to come on. And $20 for that game was pretty nice. I mean, it was expected. No one really saw it be going for 10. But now, if you really want the separate expansions, which is kind of like a full game in itself, they're only $10 each. And Spectre Torrent, like I said, comes out first on Switch, and Spectre Knight looks pretty cool. So, if you're a big fan of platformers, you owe it to yourself to get this game. It's a really fun game. And if you're a racing fan, I do recommend Fast RMX because I mean it looks like kind of like that true like stepchild the F-Zero that we never really got to have a real release for another F-Zero. So then Fast RMX and Fast Racing Neo, its predecessor on the Wii U, came in to go, hey, this game's like it and it's really fun. It's vibrant just like F-Zero, so I kind of like that. I mean, you don't really have like the quirky pilots like you do in F-Zero. It's more focused on the racing, but that's I like that. I mean, it looks like a good racing game. I personally haven't got to play it or Fast Racing Neo, but like I said, the game does look very interesting if you're into racers or like especially high speed ones. This one's going to be a good game to pick up for your Switch, and also now you get it portably, which is a really nice experience to have. So those are the main titles I recommend personally so far. I mean, I don't recommend Worlds of Goo, Little Inferno, or Human Resource Machine just because you can get them on phones and they've been out on phones for years and they're not bad games by any means, just they're not super impressive if you want to show off your Switch or at least play a really massive game on it. And those are the main titles I recommend. I'm not sure if anybody was really expecting me to like say Just Dance and Skylanders. I mean, pick them up if you really want to. It's more for the casual audience, or people who don't own any other console. But that's basically the gist of it. Those are my recommendations. I mean, again, there's only about like 11 to 12 launch titles for the Switch, but those are the ones I personally recommend. Oh, and also, I forgot about this one. I was forgetting about a really important game. I Am Setsuna. If you're an RPG fan, I definitely recommend this one. The game just looks amazing, man. I Am Setsuna is like a true RPG. The story looks good. The character design looks good. I mean, honestly, if you want another RPG to play, I recommend getting I Am Setsuna. I believe it was on other systems. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was on other systems, but now it's coming to Switch. So yeah, I mean, if you're an RPG fan, it's a must get for launch. Just saying. But those are my recommendations. If there's anything else that I recommend, I'll probably just like edit the video, say, hey, this game's pretty cool too. But that's just my overall like recommendations for the system. So anyways, that's gonna be it. And I'll see you guys for the next episode. I can't talk. We'll be talking about SD cards, everybody's favorite thing. Yay! Memory. I don't know why I did this for memory, but I did. So anyways, I'm Nick from Shave Forion, and I'm signing out.